Hey everyone, I'm working to hit 1,000 subscribers and I need your help to get there. If you enjoy this content, please hit that subscribe button right now.
Sometimes the smartest moves in baseball don't announce themselves with fireworks or front-page headlines. They arrive quietly, almost shyly, slipping through the cracks of a noisy off-season while everyone else is distracted by superstar rumors and blockbuster contracts. And that is exactly why what the Toronto Blue Jays have just done deserves far more attention than it's getting. While the spotlight remains fixed on Kyle Tucker, Bo Bichette, and the glamour of big-money decisions, Toronto has been laying down pieces with the patience of a chess grandmaster, thinking not just about tomorrow, but about 2, 3, even 4 seasons down the line. Before we go any further, take a moment to like this video, share it with a fellow Jays fan, and subscribe, because this is one of those stories that looks small now but could feel enormous later. At first glance, it's easy to dismiss these moves. Minor league contracts, injured pitchers, names that don't immediately quicken the pulse. But baseball has a long memory, and it has a habit of rewarding foresight. The Blue Jays aren't simply filling organizational gaps here, they're investing in time itself. They are buying patience, upside, and future depth at the lowest possible cost, and doing it with remarkable consistency. These aren't panic moves. They are deliberate, calm, and quietly confident. The clearest example of this approach arrives with the signing of right-hander Josh Winkowski to a 2-year minor league deal. On paper, it looks unremarkable. He's coming off internal brace surgery, he won't be ready until late 2025 at the earliest, and the expectation is that much of next season will be spent rehabbing rather than contributing. But look a little closer and the logic sharpens into focus. Toronto isn't signing Winkowski for what he is today. They're signing him for what he could be when healthy, rebuilt, and placed into a pitching environment that has quietly revived careers before. Winkowski's recent numbers tell a story of fluctuation rather than failure. A 3.86 ERA last year, a 4.14 the year before, and then a standout 2.88 ERA in 2023 across 60 appearances. This isn't a pitcher without a ceiling. This is a pitcher whose career rhythm was interrupted, whose market value dipped at precisely the moment Toronto likes to shop. By offering a 2-year deal, the Blue Jays are effectively paying for the recovery year and positioning themselves to benefit when the arm is ready again, potentially in 2027, with no pressure, no rush, and no financial strain. This is where the move begins to feel clever rather than cautious. In a league where pitching depth evaporates the moment injuries strike, Toronto is stockpiling future options in advance. They are allowing their coaching staff, led by Pete Walker, the time and freedom to rebuild a pitcher from the ground up. If it works, the reward is significant. If it doesn't, the risk is virtually non-existent. That's not gambling. That's leverage. And Winkowski isn't alone. The same philosophy reappears almost immediately with the signing of Nick Enright, again on a 2-year minor league deal. Like Winkowski, Enright is rehabbing from Tommy John surgery and is targeting a return in 2027. Once more, the Blue Jays are stepping in at the lowest possible entry point, acquiring a pitcher when his value is suppressed by circumstance rather than talent. Before the injury, Enright was quietly excellent. A 2.03 ERA across 27 games last season, the kind of performance that earns trust in high-leverage situations. Relievers like that don't usually linger on the margins for long. But timing matters, and injuries change markets. Toronto recognized that, and they moved. There's also a human layer to this signing that matters, even if it doesn't show up on a stat sheet. Enright is not just a pitcher rehabbing an elbow. He's someone who overcame cancer, returned to the mound, and then delivered at the highest level. That kind of resilience isn't teachable. It's a trait that strengthens clubhouses, that quietly raises standards, that reminds everyone around him what perspective looks like. Toronto didn't just sign an arm. They signed character. Together, these 2 deals reveal a pattern. The Blue Jays are deliberately targeting pitchers with proven major league success whose value has dipped due to injury timing. They're using 2-year minor league contracts to absorb the rehab period and retain future control. It's a long game, and it's one most fans won't fully appreciate until years from now, when one of these names reappears and someone says, "Wait, didn't we sign him ages ago?" This strategy becomes even more impressive when placed alongside the current state of the bullpen market. Options are thinning. Names like David Robertson, Justin Wilson, Sir Anthony Dominguez, and others remain available, but relief pitching is famously volatile. 1 year dominant, the next year unpredictable. Toronto has already secured one of the better relievers on the market in Tyler Rogers, but the reality is that bullpens are never finished products. They're constantly evolving, constantly patchworked. That's exactly why these minor league signings matter. They give the organization internal alternatives down the line. They reduce desperation. They create flexibility. When the market becomes overpriced or barren, Toronto will already have options developing quietly in the background. This is how sustainable contenders operate. All of this unfolds while the larger off-season drama continues to loom overhead. Kyle Tucker remains the name that dominates every conversation. Bo Bichette's future still hangs in the balance. According to multiple reports, including Robert Murray and Jeff Parsan, the Blue Jays are fully committed to landing their big fish this winter. The belief around the league is that this is the off-season where Toronto finally pushes its chips to the center of the table. The waiting game is tense. Tucker is projected to command a deal approaching $400 million. Bichette remains a priority, but negotiations take time, and every passing day fuels speculation. The narrative emerging is clear. If Tucker wants long-term security, Toronto is positioned as the favorite. If he wants a shorter-term, win-now scenario, other destinations may appeal. Either way, the Blue Jays are present, aggressive, and prepared. And that's where these quiet signings become even more meaningful. While fans focus on the stars, Toronto is ensuring the foundation remains solid regardless of how the headline moves resolve. They are protecting themselves against thin markets, injury waves, and future uncertainty. They are refusing to let one off-season decision define their entire competitive arc. This is not accidental. It's philosophy. It's a front office that understands contention isn't just about one splashy contract, but about layers of planning that intersect at the right time. The Jays are building a roster that can absorb risk at the top because it is insulated underneath. So when people ask why these moves matter, this is the answer. They matter because they represent patience in a sport that rewards impatience. They matter because they cost almost nothing and could deliver real value. They matter because championships are often decided by depth pieces no one was talking about 2 years earlier. If you're enjoying this deeper look into the Blue Jays thinking, make sure you hit like and subscribe, because these are exactly the kinds of moves that define successful eras long before banners are raised. In a few years' time, it's entirely possible that Josh Winkowski or Nick Enright becomes a meaningful contributor, and someone will dig up an old clip and say, that's when it started. That's the beauty of moves like this. They age slowly, but sometimes they age beautifully. As the off-season continues and the waiting game around Tucker and Bichette intensifies, keep an eye on the margins. That's where Toronto is quietly winning right now. These signings are not placeholders. They are seeds. So let me know what you think in the comments. Do you like this low-risk, high-upside approach? Do you trust the long game while the big moves take shape? And if you want to stay ahead of every twist in this off-season, subscribe to the channel and stick with us. Sometimes genius doesn't shout. Sometimes it whispers. And right now, the Toronto Blue Jays are whispering very intelligently indeed.